was we doing before technology? Hmm. What was we doing? Earlier yesterday, I watched a powerful, powerful video that my brother Rodney done, aka PP Drawings. I encourage everybody to go watch that video about the world, technology. And I watched it again, and so much was going through my mind that it made me come up with this, brother PP Drawings, about how so much trust is put in technology. But if it were all to go away today, how many people really could survive without it? And I thought about the older generation, like my papa, even in my mom's and dad's time, how with so little, hmm, they didn't need all that stuff. They still made it. Didn't need a mansion. When I was coming up, we all took baths in the same bathtub at the same time. I'm keeping it real with y'all. Mama would throw all of us in the bathtub together. Sometimes that water was brown from the dirt off our bodies. How we survived, how we always made it with just a little. Now I know we are all different, brought up different. Some of us got the same story. Some of us can say, but I was brought up the same way. We different ages. Some of us are older than each other. Some of us are younger than each other. But when you look at back in the day, first of all, let me hit you with this scripture, Ecclesiastes 7 and 29. I talk about the scripture a lot when the Bible shows us, lo, it's only have I found that Yah made man upright, but they sought out many inventions. This is in the Old Testament, Old Covenant, Old Agreement. Technology. From day one, we've been programmed. Even before all this stuff. Now, let me say this: technology have always been around. It's just increasing, increasing, more and more. And when you look at that scripture alone, Yah made man upright. And the longer we're around here, the more and more we're going to see mankind heavy in technology. This is why Yah was so mad at what the fallen angels taught a lot back then. But then I'm reminded of Second Corinthians 2:11. He says, "Do not be ignorant of the devil's devices, because Satan is known as the god of this world." I thought about the generations now and how they really cannot survive without this cell phone or their MacBooks, iPads, notepads, all of this stuff. But there was a time mm, we didn't have all this technology. I remember how them older people, the grandmas, great grandmothers, how they would work so hard and when it came to washing clothes, they would wash in the bathtub or the sink. Wasn't no wash and dry. Then you go in the backyard, there was a clothesline. Get the clothes pinned and hang all your stuff up there to air dry. When we didn't have a wash and dry, what were we doing? Going to the laundromat. Everything is digital now. I remember how a lot of the people back in the day had to go out to the outhouse if they had to use it in the dark. You get ready to sit down on that toilet, you don't know what's coming at you. While we sit up and cry about one restroom, having one, we need more restroom. They didn't even have that. Hmm. A lot of them. They didn't have central air. Wasn't no air vents blowing in, and man, now restrooms are so flawless and they just off the chain now. Special holders that's made to put your cell phone in while you're taking a shower. Hmm. Don't even want to come out the shower for sure. We had a shower head growing up, but it never did work. So all we did was took baths. And I remember when Mama would get that big pot, or Pop would get that pot gas off. Let go your hot water. Excuse me, water off. Eat. It was either one on, one get cut off, or you blessed to have all your utilities on. But boiling that, I said that backwards, but boiling that hot water on that stove just so you can have some hot water. Things have changed so much. I was looking in the library, thinking about the library the other day, how you had to have a library card. Libraries used to be packed. Some of them are still open, have a little people in there, but I always thought about how blessed you was if you had encyclopedias. Now it's Wikipedia. Some people still got their collection of encyclopedias, but things are changing so much. What are we gonna do when all this stuff crashes? Mm. How social media have taken away so much of real communication. How you can call people and they won't answer, but they'll text you. Mm. No true sitting down talking hardly no more. I'm not talking about everybody, of course, but now it's all about text messaging. Mm. Hey man, you just called me? Yeah, called you about an hour ago. Or some people won't even pick up. You can call them and they'll text you back what you want to talk. But that's what it's done came down to. I'm just sitting here with a lot on my mind and thinking about this. I said I want to share this with the family because I know some of y'all are older than me, and I'm older than some of y'all, and or some of us might be the same age, and y'all can relate to what I'm saying. I used to drive for a living, company called Single Source. That wasn't my first driving job. I used to do little odd jobs, temp companies. But let me mess with both T's and all my big shout out to all my people who drive those diesels. I know both T's, you just came off the road and doing other things now, but you can relate from when you used to drive. Remember this when it wasn't no GPS, wasn't no such thing as Google Map. You had to go get that road atlas. You had to pull over in them stores and get an atlas. You had to really read and know your streets. And here's the sad thing about them things. They was only updated once a year. See, it wasn't no Google. You driving and driving, and here go the other thing. A lot of times they had stuff in there missing. Something that you thought was there, and it ain't there. And you get to the destination, you be like, dang, it's but see now look what you got. Cameras everywhere. Towers everywhere. But you really had to drive both easy. I know you know what I'm talking about. You had to figure it out. You couldn't get no Google and be like, type in his address. You had a book, and you had to know that book. Mm. What will people do now if the GPS go away? You had to figure out on your own. What about before caller ID came out? What was we doing? Think about that. Now people are putting more and more of their trust in technology. What was you doing before Amazon came out? Mm. You had to go get it yourself, didn't you? What was you doing before DoorDash came? Uber driving came? What if it all shut down tomorrow? How many people can go back to life before technology? What was we doing before emailing, mm, texting, and all this stuff? You remember there was a time when you actually wrote letters. Some people still do. You got kin folks over here and over there. You had to really sit down and write letters and then go buy you some stamps and to do what? Mail them off. I used to write a lot of my kin folks and the people that I know in prison. And even with that, they came out with a way online. I forgot the name of it. I think you go through JPay, if I'm not mistaken. And you can sit right in the computer and do your letter on the internet. What if all that go away? Hmm. What if Wi-Fi went away? What if Wi-Fi went away tonight? Hmm. What if it go away? You know how many young people would go crazy? Not only if Wi-Fi went away, but even in your own phone, you couldn't go online. If your mobile data went out, whatever you have. See, some people still got a landline, regular house phone, and that's still good to keep. There's very few people got that. But I remember coming up when there wasn't no internet, and then internet came. I remember when DSL hit. I remember when you had that landline, and I remember when you had to connect to the internet when internet came. It was AOL back then. Dial up. 21.95 a month if you wanted an unlimited connection back in 1998. You on there trying to download music and somebody called, knock you offline. Tell them now don't pick up the other phone in there in the other room. Now look at it. Oh, better yet, what if these phones didn't have the cameras they had, and you had to go back to the old Polaroid cameras? Think about if digital cameras went away right now. Y'all remember that one you had to and then wait for it to come out and then you shake it some more. It ain't came yet. What if we go back to that? Hmm. What about money? What was we doing before Bitcoin and Cash App and Venmo and PayPal, et cetera, et cetera? There's so many out there I can't keep up. When you had to go get a straight cash or a check, money order. Sometimes you just had to wait. I remember back in the day, Brother Anthony, how a lot of musicians would be so frustrated when they would play and had to sit around and wait to get paid. Them days over. Now most churches, hey, I cash app you. Now don't get me wrong what I'm saying this video. Technology is good and bad. My point I'm making in this video is, do you put your trust all the way in it? And what would you do if it crashed after I get through with this video? Think about that. What if there were no more ATMs when you woke up in the morning? What about back in the day when you used to go buy a 4-bedroom house for $10,000, $9,000, $8,000 to get you a nice home back in the day. Now look at what they want. 10,000, 15,000 now is your down payment. I ain't even talking about clothing costs. What they charging for a house now is just sad. But this is the economy. This is what we living in. What if gas could go back down to being cheap? What if the cost of oil wasn't as high as they was? It's all about making money and getting you to depend on this system. I remember all my partners that was smoking, some of them would quit and then go back to it, quit. And then all of a sudden, it came out with these e-cigarettes and vaping. I remember when I first saw it, I said, what is that? And it's very expensive too. Everything has changed up. Remember when it was a typewriter? Remember back in the day when you didn't have no choice but to print everything out before a fax machine came, before the computers hit the scene, or you had to print everything out and you wrote things down. Why are you saying that, JT? Because now mostly everybody have put their trust in the iCloud storage. Think about that. Make sure that clock's still going. Okay, it's going. iCloud storage. Think about that. I remember how fun it was growing up when we used to go to the movies. Now the movies is so expensive, but how many people actually go to the movies now? The theaters. Because with Netflix, Hulu, Prime Videos, all these different things that's out now, et cetera, because there's so many of them. You at home, ain't you? It's actually cheaper to stay at home. I remember Momo, one of my partners, K Ray's great great grandmother. She loved walking to the grocery store. She would walk and carry them groceries home. Mama, you want to ride? No. Walking to the grocery store. Now the grocery store come to you. Really, a lot of this technology have made a lot of people lazy because everything is right on the internet now. I remember when back in the day growing up, your favorite shows, you watched them live. I'm talking about before these DVRs and streaming. Streaming done took over now. Remember when you had to program your VCR to catch your show if you wasn't at the house? See, when I was coming up, TV went off. Young people they don't even know. I Love Lucy, Twilight Zone, so many different things. Star Trek. You watching, and then next thing you know, TV shuts off. 60s, 70s, shut off. Even 80s. But now, it's so dangerous because what's on, you better watch it with what your kids watching. I remember coming up, we played so many board games. We would go outside, stay outside all day. Board games like Monopoly, Name That State. I mean, you don't hardly see these games no more around because nowadays everything is on the tablets and the notebooks, cell phone, video games. I just remember so much how it used to be before technology. We would play Match That Card, concentration. Let's begin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Games that would really be good for your memory. Playing cards and dominoes and checkers and ping pong, basketball outside, hide and go see, so on, so on. Jacks, how many can you pick up at one time? Them days is over. Them days is over. If you want to find out who died, you don't go in the paper no more. If you want to find out who died in your family, gone. You got to go on Facebook, Metaverse, whatever they call it now. Man, I ain't know they died. Why ain't nobody call me? It's on Facebook, dog. You got to get on Facebook, man, so you can see what's going on. What about, hello, real communication? It's gone. I'm trying to end it. Is this. What about back in the day when you had to make a real long distance phone call and you had to pay for it? I'm talking about before Skype, before FaceTime, before WhatsApp. You had to really pay, and you couldn't look at no picture, no video call. You know when you trying to make them conversations fast because you being charged. What was we doing before all this technology? Remember when you was getting your concert tickets and you had to buy tickets in person. I mean, in person at the box office. Now it's e-ticketing. Everything is online. But what would you do if it all went away tomorrow? That's my time. Shalom.